You're listening to Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast. Comics, television, movies, and more. If it impacts fan culture, we have something to say about it. And now, your hosts, Michael, Jordan, Cliff, and Seth.
Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to the number 3 TV review podcast in Cambodia. This is Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast. My name is Jordan Lowe.
I'm Cliff Barnes.
I'm the illustrious Michael K. Easton.
I'm Seth. Aren't we number 1 in Uganda?
No, I think we had 1 in Uganda, not number 1. We were 1.
Yeah.
So Cliff the other day shared actual data that ranks us as the number 3 TV review podcast in all of Cambodia. How amazing is that?
They don't have any. They only have 2 TVs in Uganda. We're the number 3 podcast about it.
So if you are a listener in Cambodia, if you are the listener that's put us at number 3, get in touch. We want to hear from you. What are you watching in Cambodia? I'd love to know.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Yeah. I can't wait. I'm glad we're on the chart somewhere.
I
don't care where it is.
You know what? They're probably Big Brother fans.
Hopefully.
You think that's what it is?
Yeah. Super into Big Brother. What's ironic is the Cambodia guys, those are the ones that are coming here and yelling over the wall stuff to the people living in the house. You'd think it was the local, but no.
Now, if you had told me they're big Riverdale fans over there, I probably would have bought it.
That tracks.
Yeah.
That is really the only fandom we've put effort into courting, and it has not worked.
Not at all.
I use the Riverdale hashtag.
We've made a love letter to Riverdale fans.
We've put stuff on YouTube. We've made videos. We've made audio.
I've made a board game.
Have you guys
pleaded?
Have you guys ever gone back and played the original audio when that show first came out and it was getting ready to come out and we reviewed it? Like what we were giving.
Yeah, I think
thoughts.
I listened to us talk about it the first time or two. Yeah,
when I was prepping the best of shows. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think I have.
Cracks me up.
Wow. Gold mine. We were
didn't
sitting on a gold mine.
We didn't know what we were in for.
Mm-mm. Like I said, nothing has brought me more happiness on television movies in the last 5 years than Riverdale has. Like, I can't wait till it comes back.
I just wish it would return its love to us. We have given it so much love and gotten so little in return.
Yeah, by the time it comes back, I will be really wanting it. I'm chock full right now. Everybody act like we were nobody's gonna be able to make anything. There's not gonna be anything to watch. I don't have time to watch everything. Yeah. Still, doesn't help that I'm watching Big Brother 24 hours a day.
Well, yeah.
I'm watching it except when I'm sleeping. I'm watching it. Work, it doesn't matter.
Do you dream about it?
Valerie's messaging, whatever. I'm like, I'm at work. Let's keep going here. Yeah, these people are crazy. So,
yeah, we have lots of TV and streaming to talk about. Lots of shows that are still coming out. But first, we're going to do a quick time warp check-in.
Oh,
it's just a jump to the left. With your hands on your hips.
I read another book.
That's a lot for all this TV you're watching, you're cramming in a lot of books, too.
I have read more this year than in a long time.
That's good. A lot of people aren't you've added a new goal and you're moving towards it. That's impressive.
I'm loving it. I'm reading a lot. Focusing on the time travel got me going, got me to buy a bunch of these books and start reading them, and that just kind of snowballed into finding other books to read. So I'm having a ball. This is a gem for if you're following this, actually looking for some time travel to read. This, I had heard of this book, but never read it, of course. This is Kindred by Octavia Butler. You've had to have heard of this, right, Jordan?
Yeah.
So,
that one's become a classroom read for a lot of colleges or high schools.
Yeah, it has
kind of a sci-fi, one of the rare sci-fi kind of stories that has become literary fiction.
Yes, it's got a reader's guide at the back. Some of these books come with like a book club guide thing, what to question or think about and things. So it's excellent. It's from like 1979, I believe. But it is about this Dana, modern black woman. It's 1979, but as far as then, she is celebrating her 26th birthday with her husband when she is snatched abruptly back in time to, guess when, slavery days. And it's just her trying to figure out why. I won't spoil why. There's a reason this is happening, but she's, pulled back in time and has to deal with living in slavery days, what it would be like to go back to that time as a black woman. And it's excellent. Highly recommend. Absolutely one of the best time travel books I've ever read. So if you're looking for one to read, this, it's over. That copy there's been 2 other girls at work read it immediately after me. I was like, hey, I got one. You guys are definitely going to want to read this. And they loved it. So definitely recommend it. It's everything you want it to be. It feels historically, it has that good, just accuracy. It feels it doesn't sugarcoat anything. It doesn't, blow anything out of proportion. It really makes you feel like what it would be like and how horrible it would be, and showing the perspectives of the slave owners and slaves and all the politics, so within them, and it just excellent how she has to deal with it, and just can't recommend it enough.
I have a silly question. Do you think someone could write this book today with today's climate and it still be as good as it is, I guess, if that makes sense?
Well, I don't know. It'd probably be a different book. I don't know. It's of its time,
Okay.
because her perspective at that time is different probably than it would be even now. Actually, I don't know. That was so close to the 60s, just out of the 60s when she wrote it. But it does feel modern, though. It does, when they say she's modern, it does feel like they were dealing with civil rights so much at the time she wrote it, and that is a lot like now. I don't know. It deals so much with the past that I'm sure it could be. But she was a special writer, and I'm sure she's passed away by now. I feel like I remember here that she died quite some time ago, but I'm maybe making that up. But she was a excellent writer, so I'm glad it was heard in her voice. It could probably be a good audiobook. If you like to listen to audiobooks, I bet this is good.
Let's see. And that was Kindred.
Yes.
By
Octavia Butler. OCT.
She passed away in 2006.
Ah, yes. I thought it was quite a while ago, yeah.
The first science fiction writer to receive a MacArthur Genius Fellowship, and multiple recipients of Hugo and Nebula Awards.
Yeah, she's great. It's a great book. So that's the installment this week. So we can move on. We have not talked about what we're watching on TV and streaming.
There's something very important I forgot to tell you.
What?
Don't cross the streams.
Islands in the stream, that is what we are.
Cross the streams.
Do that.
It's all streaming.
Right. So Jordan and I have a couple things we need to cover before we get to anything else.
Okay.
First off,
I wasn't sure this would be an every week segment or we would just kind of let it go, but this seems so pressing. We have
this might be the last segment. I don't know, because first off,
I'm not against. Don't. That was not me being against this.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how much longer I have access to it. This is first breaking news. I canceled Dish today.
Mm-hmm.
I got that Hulu Live.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't watch the Indians. I was getting ticked off, and they were supposed to be on TV Sunday, and everyone in the country could watch it on ESPN or something except me, because we're in the region that's supposed to be able to get it. So that whole ridiculousness had me mad. I was like, well, I know I can get it on this Hulu Live. So I did that, and once I was just like, I got a month left of baseball before the playoff games will be on TV anyway. So I was like,
well, you're presuming they're going to make the playoffs.
Of course.
And if they don't, it won't matter anyway. But I was like, for $50, I can watch all these games for a month. I'll just get a month of Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then I got it, and I can watch everything on there.
I know. I've had it for a while.
Well, the reason I'm not...
Cliff has been talking up Hulu Plus since he got it. And
they did not... Their PlayStation app did not do live until recently.
Oh, okay.
So they did that, and so now it's for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I got it, and I canceled Dish today. And I read up how to cancel Dish first, because they're like...
How many times did they say, hey... How about we do this?
They're like, you need to go in with a plan, how you're going to cancel, because it ain't as easy. First off, I had to wait on hold for quite some time.
I was going to say, you really have to, you got to set aside a big block of your day to take that on.
It took about a half hour.
And then they try to get you to hang up and call back to their 1-900 number that costs $3.95 a minute.
No. No, but they made me wait 15 minutes. So it took about 15 minutes to cancel. But they said how they would send you to supervisors and all this stuff on the what I was looking up. But I didn't figure I didn't get transferred ever because I led with the fact I can't watch the Indians, and there's nothing they can do about that.
Mm-hmm.
They're not gonna make that deal with Sports Time Ohio. So they just tried to say how. My internet would be a problem with Hulu and all this stuff. I was like, I got as good an internet as you can get here. I have the best internet. So
you got the Nighthawk.
All right, we
have
team
mascot's kind of problematic. Are you sure you're a Cleveland fan?
They tried everything.
I have that Google Stadia, and I've never had any issue playing it with the internet.
Yeah.
You have what?
Google Stadia. It's their game system that basically you don't have to buy a console. You just buy the controller, and you can you pay $10 a month, and you can get free games. But you can they just released the Avenger game on it, but all you have is a Google Chromecast Ultra that hooks up to the back of your TV, and you can play any game you want. The problem is that their library is very limited. It's slowly building.
Yeah. But anyway, so that's my deal. But the one problem is we've been watching Happy Days.
Did you start at episode 1?
Yes.
You've been watching the whole thing?
I've only missed one episode.
Okay.
Because
I kind of jumped in closer to the shark.
Right. You jumped in closer to the shark. Well, now Michael, we're going to catch you up in case you haven't heard, but famously, that jumping the shark is where Happy Days is supposed to have, become ridiculous, and then That
created the phenomenon.
Right. And what Jordan posited the theory that it was when Arnold's burned down and that there was good shows between those two happenings, which we refer now between the shark jump and the burn down of Arnold's. That is the Happy Days taint. So we are deep in the Happy Days taint right now. And I'm giving a lot of pushback on Jordan's theory because there is some real crap back here by the taint.
This is just like creepy because we just like at my job, we have a stand-up talk first thing in the morning. And my supervisor was talking about the proper way to pick up boxes and how you do a deep squat and you open your taint. And we're just like,
wow.
What? He's like, yeah, when you do those deep squats, you open your taint. So this is taint related.
This is the USPS you're talking about?
I never said that. And you will not ever hear me say anything regarding the USPS.
The USPS taint squat workout. That's his new workout. Anyway,
Okay.
I'm gonna give a few exhibits here of what we've been watching since we last spoke. They've never named the band, their little band.
That's a good shows in that era didn't usually have running jokes like that went from episode to episode.
But what a Riverdale feel, because they're like, it's just like I kept waiting for them to name it the Richies or the Potsies.
Yeah, and then they'd go up on the roof of Arnold's, and they the music would still play as they went up to the roof.
Right. Al wanted to name it the Al Tones. But Potsy goes around every episode, singing a song, and kisses the girls in Arnold's. And I'm just like, Potsy. She's sitting with her boyfriend.
Yeah, every time he sings, I fast forward it.
Oh, no, I watch to see who he's going to kiss awkwardly.
They better not be too sultry.
This is exactly where he is going for it. And she's walking home. This is in the taint there. It's when we got Mork from Ork, which we were messaging while I was watching that. That's pretty good. I would give it. That's pretty good. Robin Williams is great, and him and Henry Winkler in that first Mork episode is classic. He's got him doing slow-mo and stuff, and I'm just like, this is classic.
I can imagine, trying to explain it. I mean, I'm sure it was silly at the time, but trying to explain it now is even sillier. But just watching those two at the top of their comedic game go at each other was a good half hour.
There's so much. There were so many still music things stuffed in to this thing. But like we had, he was dating the French ballet girl, right? And he made Franzi, and he made everybody take ballet lessons. And then she does an entire dance to a classically composed version of the Happy Days theme. And it just goes on and on. And I'm like, wow. We did get the classic episode. You called out, you were like, wait, it's coming. This at 2:30 on Sunday. You were on mark for it. I was like, appointment television. Blind Fonzie puts his motorcycle back together.
Oh, that is a classic. Yes.
Yeah.
But
I forgot how he went blind. Al winged him with a pan. Like a very flimsy, thin little pan.
It was a tray or whatever.
A tray.
He turned around, kang.
And that was enough. That was enough to blind a man. A man with superpowers.
Oh, it was amazing. Did you notice in most of these episodes in this fifth, sixth season, Ralph Malph has eyeliner, and I think Richie does sometimes. It's like he looks like a clown. Like at some point they thought like his eyes weren't picking up or something. I don't know, but he's wearing eyeliner all the time. All of a sudden it looks weird as hell. The season 5 finale was the courtroom one. where
Classic.
which was classic. Yeah, Fonzie gets to be, a jury takes it very seriously. There's a black guy on trial for
Stole a purse.
Supposedly stole a purse, drove by on a motorcycle or whatever, and Fonzie, solves the case, of course. But there's the guy that plays Jerry Seinfeld's dad. But the astronaut pen. He's the racist on the jury who's like, they'll lock him up, book him, and it's all about racism. But the B story in that racism episode is Richie, Ralph, and Potsy dressing up like Mexicans and performing the Three Caballeros. It is the most ridiculous thing. I'm just like, oh. What is happening?
They were trying to win like the frat party talent show, and they all had their serapes on, singing the Three Caballeros.
Their mustaches and everything.
Making sure not to alienate their demographics there.
So
that jury plot has every sitcom ever has done that plot. Yeah, the 12 Angry Men plot. But this is a classic representation of it.
It was good. That was a good episode. Then we got season 6 opened with the 3-part Westward Ho, where they went to it's ridiculous. Some fictitious uncle or something of Marion's has a ranch, and they got to go there and stave off the bad guy, and they got to save the ranch by having a rodeo.
He's a sidewinder.
Yeah, he's a sidewinder. Oh, and Fonzie, this is kind of another romantic thing where Fonzie has got to ride Diablo, the bull.
I could shift from saying Burn Down Arnold's to Fonzie rides the bull.
Right.
I'm still not sold on Jump the Shark.
It's possible.
What does that mean? Is that? I think it's like a fighting chicken.
There's even they echo where he's like, Fonzie's gonna jump the shark. In this one, Joni yells, Fonzie's gonna ride the bull. So good. He hides in the barrel. And remember? Anyway. We got a decent episode in there. Fonzie is he's got some, not Spike. He didn't have Spike, but he had another kid in a leather jacket that followed him around. He was doing Big Brother or something. I don't know what, not Big Brothers, but he was Big Boys, Big Brother, Big Sister type thing or something. He's got this kid, no parent, or he's dating his mom. That's it.
Oh, Kimosabe.
Yeah. That's right. Kimosabe. And then the dad comes back and he kind of does I think it might have made me tear up in the moment where he is backing down to the dad to try to make the kid not like him and stuff. That was good.
It did make me wonder if there were any child psychologists consulted or if that's a proper way.
Yeah, that's how you
help
do it.
A child with loss.
That's how you give somebody's dog back. You say, I hate you. You can't come with me. Go away.
That seemed a little iffy, but the episode was solid.
Okay, the next one. Richie's not there. This is at the beginning, and the Potsies, I'll call them, are performing. And this seemed so... I don't think they did it on purpose, but the line is so good. Richie's not there, and it's time for the sax solo. And Potsy doesn't say, I think Ralph says, fake it. And he doesn't say, I can't play sax. He says, I can't fake a sax solo, because that's all Richie does anyway, is fake a sax solo. Oh, that was good. We had the claw. Remember the guy with the metal hand or whatever?
They're all dressed like gangsters.
You can't tell me that is not Jump the Shark type material. The claw. Archie's Psycho, and there's Mr. Big. Fonzie's Mr. Big. Come on. It's Scarface, the Undertaker. Then Fonzie's allergic to girls. That's it. That's a heck of an episode. they reenact the first Thanksgiving. I fast forwarded through that a lot. That was so awful. Fonzie's a magician. Yes, I do. I remember seeing this when I was a kid. You know, when I rewatched it, where he gets locked like Houdini in the water thing, the tank.
The great milk jug.
And the guy runs out. He can't possibly get out of the milk jug. And he's sitting on it.
Well, that one started with, they always do Happy Days, filmed in front of a live audience. And it opened with, the following tricks were done with the following magic is done with no camera tricks. So it's basically, we filmed these magic tricks for real.
Well, but this is my biggest proof that we have burnt down Arnold's prematurely. There's an episode where Al, his arm gets cursed.
Now, that's a Halloween episode. Episodes and everything are very silly.
Listen, he gets his arm cursed by a woman with an evil eye, and she has a little Al doll that she can control what he does with his arm, and he's like dropping French fries and shit. And then they do a doll exorcism where Richie is a wizard, Ralph is Igor, Potsy is a vampire, and Fonzie comes in with the doll you could buy of Fonzie.
Like the
lady with the evil eye takes it and is controlling Fonzie.
With like the little Migo doll.
Yeah. It was, oh my God. I was like, how far are we going to go here? They have totally run out of everything. Hey, do you give up yet?
No, I can't give up just yet.
Oh my God.
Because I said, my thinking is, once you've jumped the shark, the show's not worth watching. And just naming these episodes, we've named classic episodes like, I remember the Dude Ranch. I remember Fonzie Going Blind. Like, those are worth watching still. So, yes, there's some stinkers. Of course, there's some bad episodes. But I still think we're in worthwhile territory. So I will not submit.
Oh, wow. I can't pin him, guys.
One of my, in the last week, one of my favorite, because I watch a lot of YouTube. And I watch a lot of vlogs and stuff like that. But one of my favorite YouTube channels is a guy by the name of Adam the Woo. I've mentioned him before. And just in the last week or so, he's put up a couple new videos where he lives in California now. And he has been traveling around. He'd done a bunch of research, rewatched a bunch of Andy Griffith, and went to a bunch of filming locations. And he's got his little clipboard there with, still shots, and he's pointing out all these, this is where the pond was. This is where, in the opening scene, this is where the courthouse was. If you look here, look at these light poles, he's spotting things that are still there. And then in the most recent episode, he went and did a bunch of filming locations from Three's Company. Three's Company is one of my all-time favorite sitcoms, and I thoroughly enjoyed watching him go and point out these, at the LA Zoo, the opening number on the Santa Monica Pier and season 1 through 2 or 3 on the opening number there. And then going, this was the original, this is the apartment building. This is the original apartment building from the pilot that was different. It made me want to go back and watch Three's Company. So we're
doing a rewatch episode by
we need to do a rewatch of Three's Company.
We got to go back. Gift.
I was just thinking we need to all go to Milwaukee and find all that Fawn statue.
Yeah. Let's go find all these things.
Michael's got a Fonzie on his
Let's find the alley where Fonzie and Richie first met and we're going to fight or whatever.
This is a Fonzie pillow, and I'm pretty sure I had this
as a
little
little
kid.
I had that.
Yeah.
I had that. I had the doll that he was freaking doing the voodoo thing with. I watched the cartoon. You guys remember the Fonzie cartoon?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say about pulling up the Fonzie cartoon and the Duke. When you talk about that, it also reminds me of the Dukes of Hazzard. Like, it kind of, to me, goes hand in hand.
That had a cartoon also.
The other thing we need to discuss, Jordan, last time we spoke, you brought up another of our shows, the old Yellowdale, And
Sure.
you said that you finished the third season, and I said I had 8 episodes taped. I'd only watched the first 1 or 2 episodes, and I had kind of decided, But I said, do I need to watch these 8 episodes? And you said yes, just like yes. And I was like,
oh, no, you're gonna give it to me now, aren't you?
no, listen. And I was like, that's a lot of episodes for him to just say, yeah, you need to watch them. Well, just let you off the hook. You were right.
Oh, good. I hate recommending anything to anyone because I know how much of a commitment it is. So I'm glad.
I never fear. Well, you're allowed to have a flop every once in a while. Most of the time I agree with you. So I was willing. I was like, okay, I gotta watch it.
So this is the Kevin Costner show on Paramount. That's apparently a pretty big hit.
It's the OKC, the old Kevin Costner show.
Right. So it apparently gets really good ratings for cable.
This is the
3rd season just ended.
If you are a countrified person, if you like your big trucks and you share log cabins on Facebook, this is your show. I have to mention first off, Choco Chimp cereal. That's a thing that old Kevin Costner has for breakfast sometimes.
Right.
There's a box of cereal with a chimpanzee. Oh my God. Did you notice that Jamie's dad, the guy that it was revealed that he was adopted,
Right.
and I was like, who's going to be his dad? The guy is from a classic Kevin Costner movie, 2 of them. I didn't remember these in The Postman, but I definitely remember that he was one of the main guys in No Way Out.
Really?
Where they're like in that office building or whatever, and he's I don't want to say who he is, but I can't remember the guy's name. It's like William Patton or something like that. But
yeah.
But he played Jamie's dad there. I thought he easily get an in with old Kevin Costner. That Walker guy came back, and I sat there. I knew when I Googled it that I was going to say, what did Walker do? Like, all I had to put in was, what did W? And it said, and it was like everybody had already searched, what the hell was he supposed to have done that they're going to beat the hell out of this guy?
They were going to kill him in one episode for something, and then somebody let him go and didn't kill him and take care of him. So he's a loose end now. So I'm sure half the audience didn't remember what the whole plot was about. Because this show moves pretty fast. It's not quite Riverdale, but it's close.
Yes, absolutely. They chug along really fast.
Well, did you pick up the 2 things I said tied directly to Riverdale?
I picked up 2 things that tied directly to Riverdale. I don't know if they're the same 2 things.
The brand?
You get to say one. Huh?
The brand?
The brand? No, that's not one of mine.
They cut off the guy's brand, much like Jughead cuts off snake tattoos.
True, but what he says, that Walker guy says, karma. I just like how it was just like so Yellowdale. Like it's like karma comes in all shapes and sizes. Looks like it's me today. And he's like, y'all better hold him. Cuts his freaking brand off. It's like, that is very Riverdale. You're right. Yeah. Good call. I got 2 more. What's your other one? I'll give one. The guy Eddie, who we never see, is the Dr. Curdle Jr. of Yellowdale. Because when they go to dig up a body, and he goes and they get it out, and the guy says, well, she might not look too good, but unless Eddie did it, unless Eddie put her in, and they don't know. Yep, Eddie did this.
Did you look him up on Twitter?
Well, what's your other one?
The other one is talking about Wes Bentley's dad.
Yeah,
was a murderer, and he might have inherited the serial killer gene. His birth father was a killer, so he might be as well.
I love that we each came up with 2 different Riverdale things.
Nice.
It literally, Jordan, I don't know how you missed this. The end of season 3. What the hell is Kevin Costner doing when he gets shot?
Oh, wow, he's on the side of the road with a tire, changing a tire.
Oh, no.
Boom, shakalaka. Blew my mind.
So, yeah, we said this season was a little bit slower. It was just sort of about, big business trying to make moves on this ranch. And it was about, people encroaching and, other people from the past coming back. But then this last episode, there was grave robbing, mail bombing, drive-by shooting. So it threw everything it had into the finale and left on a cliffhanger. Everyone might be dead from the cast or everyone might survive. We don't know. So you got to come back for season 4.
Yeah, I will always come back. I'll never.
I just had to look up what the hell you guys were talking about.
That's what
Yellowstone. I don't think we ever did say the name.
It's what we called it Yellowdale. Sorry. Yeah.
I just Googled Kevin Costner show.
Yeah.
And that's
Beth,
what came up.
you're going to want to focus on Beth. And I don't know. There's a lot of rodeo, a lot of shooting, riding horses.
Yeah, if the show was just Beth and Rip and their relationship and the guys in the bunkhouse, I think I would like it a lot better. Like, I don't care about Kevin Costner or the other family members or whatever's going on with Wes Bentley. Like, that's where it loses me. But I like the ranch stuff. Like, that's something I've never seen in a show before. That life of living out on a ranch and
in a modern
what you're doing in a modern way, right?
Yeah, we've seen it in Cowboys and stuff, but I like the modern, and I think that's why it's such a huge hit, because there's people that living in this modern society that love the nostalgia of a farm and cowboy stuff, and they want to see that that's a reality. You can do both, so I totally get the pull of it.
And we joke about it, but I think it's a pretty good show, and I think people legitimately like it as a drama series.
Yeah. Oh, it's totally worth watching. It's over the top, but in a fun way. All right, I have been waiting to talk about Happy Days and Yellowdale all week, so I got that out of my system. You guys talk about whatever.
Oh, God. Michael, did you happen to finish Doom Patrol? We've been through this, but...
No,
okay.
Unfortunately.
I did, or at least technically I did.
I got your text, but I had read something about them saying that it was kind of an open-ended finale or something.
Yeah, so I totally did not realize I watched the last episode, number 9 of the season. Totally watched that, and then I was like,
do you remember what's that called?
The name of the episode?
Yeah. Because they're all like something patrol.
Yeah, I don't off the top of my head. But I had watched it and I was totally like, okay, I'm going to, must be one more. And then I was like, are these still coming out? What is happening? Where's my final episode? And it turns out they were a victim of COVID and they only put out 9 episodes.
Episode 9 is Wax Patrol.
Wax Patrol.
So,
that sounds whack. Well, I mean, did it do anything for you, or did you like?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely It did not really tie.
There's no climax.
Yes, so I needed that ribbon. Everything tied up in a bow at the end to really complete it. But yeah, I really like, we've talked without going into the episodes, we both like it. We both like the cast a whole lot and the actors. And so I'm anticipating season number 3. And then I mentioned to you guys before when we were off air, Disney Plus, if anybody isn't aware, is currently testing in Canada a group watch feature with Disney Plus, where you'll be able to stream it online with up to 6 of your friends and watch shows together, which apparently I didn't know was a thing, but it's a feature a lot of people have been asking for, apparently. So they are testing that out now.
I'm kind of curious of how that would work. Like, would it be a fact of like you could hear like the 6 people you're sharing with, like you could hear their audio of them talking while they're watching it as well? Like, say basically if you're like in a movie theater, but I seriously doubt that's the case. It'd probably just be like you can share this with 6 people.
Wouldn't you hear the audio coming off? If they're mic'd and could talk to you, you'd hear the audio coming off their TV feeding back into their mic. So it's just going to be like a 6-round echo chamber.
Yes.
But maybe not, because this Cliff, weren't you saying something about you can't stream Mulan like while you're on Zoom or something?
Yeah, so we found out the hard
way. We weren't trying to bootleg Mulan. What are you talking about?
But I mean, that could be a feature that because technology is getting very crazy with audio detection now, where they can pick up certain things with, I guess, AI or whatever, and isolate that out of, like, just the same way, like, if you were, like, record a YouTube video and it picks up something that's copyrighted, it'll just mute it.
Yeah.
So I could see Disney having some kind of proprietary software that would do the same thing if you're playing something that someone else isn't supposed to be listening to or have the rights to.
But I thought, and with the current state of times, what a neat fix that is to, watching a movie with your friends. If you're quarantined or, even across the country now, you can still, possibly do that in the near future. So I thought that was a pretty cool thing. It wasn't something I was aware of that had been accessible on other platforms, but apparently at some point other platforms have done this for people to know about it. So, and then real quick, speaking of Disney Plus, I was just reading this evening, there is a reboot coming of Doogie Howser, MD. Did you guys watch Doogie Howser?
I'm sure I did, on and off.
I really didn't. I remember it being a huge hit. Of course, Neil Patrick Harris, and that was his first big, huge role. It was about a kid genius that became a doctor. And I think it was on ABC, if I remember right. But it's
him and Vinny.
Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't they come in the window of his bedroom or something? I can't remember. I didn't watch them all or anything, but I remember watching quite a few.
Well, the reboot.
They have some kind of. Sorry, they have some kind of show on one of the networks that's similar to the premises of that.
The Good Doctor or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've never seen that.
I think that character he's a young man, but I believe he's autistic.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of the central idea behind that show. This new reboot is going to be called Doogie. I don't know how to say this.
I'm waiting.
Kamaloha MD, and it's going to be it's going to star Hawaii-born Courtney Kang. She's been on a couple shows, but it's going to be a female Doogie with a.
Odin doesn't like a lady.
this shit writes itself. I swear to God.
So that's a thing that's coming out sometime, and on Disney Plus. I don't know when.
A show we didn't watch with a reboot we don't care about.
Yeah,
coming soon to you.
But we got the joke. We got the joke out of it.
Yeah, that's all you had to say.
Disney Plus. When is any of the Marvel stuff, like shows, coming out, like the Vision and Scarlet Witch? And
they just said
they've
said yesterday or something that they were actually getting ready to start working on the Falcon and Winter Soldier again, but
I know
everything's delayed because of this stuff.
Yeah, but I thought like the Scarlet Witch one, like it had pretty much like been done already.
Well, we know that's going to be the first one out. Yeah. But yeah, even when we got footage from it, that little preview, I don't know how much of it was finished.
They
But
could have
I'm
cranked up
definitely-
work on the animated one and got that ready, you would think.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, okay. And then real quick, I just mentioning The Boys. It's came out here in the last couple weeks since we've recorded. We've all watched various episodes of season 2.
Yeah, I haven't watched any.
Okay. But overall, guys, I mean, I'm digging it. I had made the comment I should have went back and watched season 1. And after watching the first episode, because it's just been too long and I've watched too much stuff in between. So
for most people, it's been a long time. I just recently got Amazon Prime, so yeah, you think there would be? I think they did a quick little previously on, but you think like Netflix, you would have that option to do the season 1 recap or whatever, but it doesn't seem to have that. Yeah, my free Prime trial ended on September 4th, which is the day The Boys premiered. Actually, it came out a day early, so they surprised us. It came out on Thursday. So I thought, well, I can keep, not just for The Boys, there's still some movies I want to watch. So I got a couple months free. So I'll pay for a couple months of Prime. The holidays are coming up. I don't know how many
much is it a month?
With this, I got a discount through this the place that gave me the free trial, so I'm only paying $5.99 a month.
Oh, that's great.
Wow.
It says if you stuck with it after the free trial, you got this complimentary or discount.
That's about what you pay. If you pay yearly, that's about what you end up paying a month.
Okay. But I thought, I don't know how many stores I'll be able to go to, to Christmas shop and this stuff. So I figured it would pay for itself over the next couple months, and I can watch the rest of The Boys and all these other movies I want to watch. So I'm going to pay for a streaming service.
You heard it here, folks.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like The Boy. I like season 1 a lot. It's very dark and bloody and violent and R-rated and gritty and grim, but there's something else to it. It has something to say. And I know I've said
heart
before.
Underneath the disgusting crap. It's got that. It's a hard thing to say about that show because it is so over the top. But at the end of it, it has heart. Like Huey is the heart of the show, and you watch his transformation from being just a standard, ordinary guy of getting wrapped up in this over the top craziness, but still trying to hang on to his humanity through all of it.
Yeah, Huey is played by Jack Quaid, who is the son of Meg Ryan and
Dennis Quaid.
And nephew would be Randy Quaid then. But I do like him. That's right. I watched we'd watched a movie he did a few months back about him and the girl where they go on the wedding. They become each other's wedding dates for their various weddings and become a couple. I really liked him in that too.
What's weird is there's a completely on Netflix. There's a movie just like that, the exact same premise and everything.
Oh,
it's with a different couple. Like the movies are almost identical.
And
every romantic comedy.
Yeah. You know who my wife is. I've watched them.
You've seen them.
You have. You own them.
But have you guys watched episode? You guys haven't watched episode of 3 of The Boys yet, have you?
I have.
I've just seen 2.
Okay.
I've seen 3 and 4.
I'm not going to spoil it, but there is one scene that I laughed so effing hard at. I was bent over laughing hysterically.
Don't show us.
And what's really funny is the guy that plays the Deep. My wife has been rewatching the Gossip Girl series, and he's actually one of the young guys on that show. I think his name's Charlie, maybe on the show. She would be able to. I don't know but it's funny watching the difference between those two type of characters.
Yeah,
I think we can now mark that as the first reference to Gossip Girl since Michael
Yeah,
had left.
since he left.
That's what we were missing is
That's
references to shows like Gossip Girl.
Heart of
It
Dixie.
adds there's a layer that adds just another layer to our souffle.
We don't hardly even talk about guys' eyes anymore.
Man, you guys have been missing.
I know.
There's so many blue-eyed guys on Gossip Girl.
I was gonna say one thing I can't when you can like something so much and then forget why you like it and start to watch it is an incredible feeling. I saw that Hard Knocks was back on HBO, and I like to watch the Browns, and that's about as far as I go in football anymore. But I've always liked this show, and this new season there's a few episodes. I was like, I'll have some time. I'll watch this first episode. I sat down, and they're doing the San Diego Chargers
in the LA Rams.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know.
Well, it's the LA Chargers now.
Oh, okay. Well, I haven't even watched any of it really yet. All I've watched is I sat down. It opens up with the coach of the Chargers meeting with the team on Zoom. And they all are on Zoom talking, and then they realize the coach is there, and he's talking to them, and they're like, "Hey, coach," and they talk back and forth, and he's talking about COVID, and everything. He's just saying how this season's going to be different and everything. And then he's like, but, just hang in there. And he goes, everybody's kind of touched by this. He's like, he says, I had it, and they kind of, whoa.
And I have it right now.
Well, I don't know. But anyway, he said, I had it. So I've dealt with it. And he goes, there's a lot of people out there saying how they're sick of this. And he goes, they're sick of it. He's like, what am I supposed to do with that? He's like, just acting like how stupid that is. Like you can't just be sick of it and say we're done, And he says, and he starts talking about how we're, the team that's gonna win is the one that deals with this the best and does everything right. And I'm like, oh, this guy's really smart. And then the theme song starts just sprinkling in there. I'm like, oh my gosh, how did I forget about the best theme song on TV? And then it starts coming in, and he's like talking about it, and they just time it so perfectly, the swelling of that, and then it's done. I was like, man, this was almost as good as the Gruden poem or whatever last time, or whatever the Raiders famous thing. I was just like, I've not watched any more. I've watched that first 5 minutes like 10 times, and I was like, I haven't watched any more of it, but I friggin' love the opening of those episodes. So I'll probably binge the first however many episodes there are this weekend, but it's good.
Yeah, I'm happy football's back. So, anybody got anything else real quick?
We watched a couple more episodes of Lovecraft Country. Did you watch 3 and 4?
I did. Yes.
We had said the first episode was great. The second episode was not.
Yep.
I watched the third episode, The Haunted House, we'll call it. Yeah. And I thought it was great. And,
it was good.
And, Jolie Smollett, or I think her name is, she was. That's a career performance. That episode for her it was fantastic. And episode 4 was ridiculously weird again. I don't know. Can't figure this show out. It just goes back and forth of being entertaining and then being over the top, not entertaining to me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's a weird show. I want it so bad to be great. So episodes 1 and 3 are good.
Yeah, HBO and HBO Max. The two of us also watched a documentary that I probably liked a lot more than he did.
I liked it. It was a lot of stories. You didn't get a lot of people talking, and it was not a lot of show
footage.
Me, don't tell me. Come on.
Yeah, not a lot of footage. But it's called Class Action Park. It was about a amusement park that I'd heard about maybe a couple years ago
there was a movie. Johnny Knoxville did a movie. There was this YouTube video, but there's a movie called Action Point.
Okay,
isn't that the name of it? And it's about it was based on this, where it was a amusement park where they just it was like Jackass. Everybody was getting hurt. And stuff.
Okay,
that's
right.
But they based it on this real life park.
I had first come into contact with a YouTube channel called Defunctland that does series or several seasons where they just talk about a lot of theme parky stuff, things that used to exist but don't anymore, and they kind of give you a history and the story behind it. And I really enjoyed that channel. But they'd done one on Action Park a few years ago, so I'd seen that this documentary came out. So then I went back before I watched it and kind of brushed up on that Defunctland.
There has to be a lot of the same footage.
It was a lot of the same, yeah. And so I watched that and I was like, okay, yeah, I remember that. Okay. And then sat down and watched Class Action Park, about this amusement park in New Jersey that used to, one time it was like a ski resort. And then this crazy guy named, gosh, I just had it here, Eugene Mulvihill purchased it and developed different lands in this park separated by a highway in New Jersey that became this huge thing in the 80s of just craziness, lawless teenagers running a theme park. If you can imagine how amazing and yet terrifying that would be, that's what really happened.
There's nothing in the world like Action Park.
Baby, let me take you where the action is hot. Action Park.
The story of Action Park is a true crime story.
As you entered the park, you saw this thing, and you're like, this is real. The engineering behind this, if there was any engineering, was just nuts.
Build it higher, make it faster. People control the action.
Combine that with liquor and anything goes.
There were no rules. For a lot of kids, that was heaven.
And if you couldn't swim well, yikes.
I don't think you can understand a place like Action Park if you don't understand the kind of minds that build it.
A lot of people wish they could ignore rules. Gene actually did that. Nobody would give him insurance, so he created his own insurance company and then insured himself.
It did bring sometimes a criminal element. I don't know how many people died at Action Park, but it wasn't just one person.
Electrocuted,
Decapitated,
fractured vertebrae, impaled on the bowl, had a heart attack. Nobody should ever be the second person to die in a wave pool. Close the wave pool.
The action never stops at Action Park.
And it's full of these stories from people that went there, and it's funny, but in the same sense, people got seriously hurt there. Some people died on these rides. Somebody got electrocuted on a kayak,
it's
ride.
Crazy.
The
guy was just like, I want to have an amusement park
with no rules.
I'm going to make a water park. Here, make this.
Yeah. I'll just draw it on a napkin. You guys figure it out.
Just a slide, a tube. Think of a water park. Like we went to Wyandotte Lake a bunch when I was a kid. But it's like, we have our own little water park here now. But it's the tube slide that totally enclosed. They went down and just did a complete
360
and came out in the pool of water.
Yeah.
And they just threw dummies down, mannequins down it, and they would come out all busted up and
decapitated and stuff. So they did that for a while, testing it out, because there's no engineering at all. And they're like, okay, well, maybe we need to change it up. Maybe it shouldn't be.
Maybe it shouldn't be like you're going to go 100 miles per hour. This is way too steep. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it's pitch black. Pitch black. You have no idea. And then after, they ran out of mannequins, I'm not even positive that they had mannequins not being broken before they were putting people, but they just put employees. They just would pay. He would stand at the bottom with $100 bill.
If you
made it out alive, you got $100 bill. And so these suckers are diving in there.
Yeah, what had happened on some of the original ride, the guy went through the loop, got all busted up, cut up, knocked teeth out, came out the other end. So then they send somebody else down in it. And the next two people come out and they're all jaggedy, just cut up, and they're like stomach sections and stuff. So they're like, what in the world? Why are they getting cut up? So they go and they open, there's like a trap door on the top. They open that up and there are teeth from the first guy embedded into the slide. And that's what was cutting the other kids.
Amazing.
I mean, it was just absolutely...
There's just like, there's rope swings that just drop you into water. Ice cold water.
And not a pool.
This is fresh water that's just like these
stuff living in
these
it.
people, and then literally shocking people because they had like a lazy river with these things in there to keep the current going, so you keep moving.
Yeah.
But it's electrocuting people,
and that wasn't grounded, and they just something they got too.
Now that's shocking. That costs extra.
Yeah.
It's just like all that kind of stuff. It was just like so 80s.
It was the
really
embodiment of that MTV 1980s feel.
Well, there's a lot of footage of like Ricky Rackman there. Alice in Chains is there going to it. And they're like, we're here from freaking Action Park. This place is crazy.
Yeah. And there's interviews with like Jimmy Kimmel on his show. And he's talking about, we went to Action Park all the time. It was the local place. But and they had, they had go-karts in like the motor world. They had go-karts that they had.
There was a highway in between the water park and the motor park, and you would go in the day to the water park when it's hot, get wasted, just beer everywhere, and then you go drive the freaking cars.
Yeah, and they had like taken the safety measures off of them, so they went like 65 miles an hour.
Drive them up on the highway.
Yeah. And then they had bumper boats, and they're like, they leak gas and oil like crazy. It was just
into the water.
Into the water. It was just.
I like the one that you get on the ski lift thing to go to the top of the water slide. That you're going to be on a sled. So everybody has their sled, just like you would take your skis or your snowboard up to the top. And they have them hooked just on this little hook on the ski lift, and they fall. But the ski lift goes right over the slide, so they would fall right where the people were sliding down the thing.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It was fascinating to me.
It kind of reminds me of like when the kids were real little. I think. I don't remember if you guys were there or not, Seth, but we went to like Camden Park or something, like when it was towards the end of its days.
Yeah. I think I did go.
And because I remember us being on like one of those ski lifts or whatever that went over the park or something, and the whole time I'm looking at it going, is this where I die?
This is not safe.
Sketchy.
Why is there no seatbelt?
Yeah, that's like going to the fair here.
That's how I feel. That reminds me of the vehicle that I drive on a daily basis doing can't tell you what. I feel like I am in a car or in a at the fair.
You know what? It sounds so worse when you say it. When you talk about the U.S. Postal Service in that way.
I don't think I did. But anyway, the vehicle, it like
the little truck thingy.
Yeah, it's so old and like it's just sheet metal, and like every bump you feel like I feel like I am on a ride at our local fair, like going around and around. Like that's what it reminds me of.
Yeah, you gotta watch out check it for teeth.
Yeah. Make sure does this steering wheel actually do anything?
Yeah, I absolutely love this documentary. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And, I do feel bad. Like, horrendous things really did happen. People seriously got hurt and died, and that's horrible. But, man, this as a entertainment, this thing was amazing. And this guy that ran it was just...
He was the Donald Trump of water parks.
He really was. If Donald Trump had a amusement park of any sorts, it would be exactly like Action Park.
They did say at one point they tried to get him to invest, and it was too much.
He said it was too crazy.
It was too crazy.
Yeah. So, it was just HBO Max. I absolutely loved it. So many stories, and the one guy they kept interviewing the redheaded guy,
Chris Gethard, I think his name. He's a comedian. Okay. They interviewed a lot of comedians and comedians, that had went to it, so they were good at telling stories.
I could just listen to him talk about Action Park.
This is the look on his face.
Because we've all been there, just that crazy stuff we did as
right. When you were saying about it embodying the 80s, it really did, because that I remember it being like you came home in the dark. Yeah. Like you did whatever. If you just said, I'm going to go do this, I'm going with them, or his parents are going somewhere, I'm going with them. Well, you may end up at someplace like that. It's like, just come home later.
Right.
I didn't like that nowadays. You freaking know where your kids are every minute of the day.
That's right. Yeah, that's for sure. So yeah, I absolutely love it. So if you want to watch some good theme parky stuff, HBO Max Action Park or Class Action Park, otherwise known as Traction Park, and a dozen other nicknames that were too great to be believable.
Right.
And that was a highlight of my week. You guys got anything else? You watch anything else worth? Yeah. No.
How long we been going here?
Quite a while. I'm at an hour and 26 minutes, but some of that's going to be cut out because it was before we started recording or started the show. So
yeah, I don't have anything else.
We got over an hour, so
that was a pretty. Anything else will be a come down from that story, so I think that's probably a good place to end it.
Okay, so Michael, shall you do the honors?
As always, I'm the illustrious Michael K. Easton.
See you next time. My name's Jordan Lowe.
I'm Cliff Barnes.
Does anybody remember the way we used to do it at all?
No.
It's so clunky. Like
I don't remember.
I'm just. It's very clear that you guys.
I remember Seth was always last because you always would say goodbye forever.
But I know you would say you're the illustrious Michael. But whatever's happening between you three, the flow is not right.
Yeah, I don't know what it was.
We gotta shake the rust off a little bit.
All right, somebody go back and listen to an old episode and figure out what the hell we're supposed to say. Goodbye.
No, we always used to awkwardly. So tweet us at what's the address again? We have an email, right?
Yeah.
We always that awkward.
That was it. Do all that again.
Yeah.
Find me somewhere on the interwebs.
All Ages Comics at SoProComics.com. Asylum Comics in Marietta. Buy a mattress.
Yeah. Get COVID.
Buy some stamps.
Buy stamps. Try the mail. I mean, why not? What's it going to hurt?
Right. Those suckers drive around like they're on rails.
Give them something to do.
Wow, that was terrible.
Oh, shoot.
Bye. Forever.
Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast, is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Sounds, music, and clips played during the podcast are property of copyright holders. All original content is property of www.udownwithkpp.com. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and leave a comment. Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast, is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, and wherever podcasts can be found. You can connect with us through social media on Facebook, YouTube, at the Ka-Pow Podcast on Twitter, or email the show, Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast, at gmail.com. If you really want to go the extra mile, please sign up to be a patron through the Podbean app or our website, www.udownwithkpp.com, to receive special content and early access to some episodes. We are grateful to anyone that chooses to contribute, but please know that most of our content will always remain free. So please continue to like, comment, and share.
Mr. Foreman, could you read the vote so we can go home? We all know he's guilty. What we have here are 11 guilties and 1 not guilty amundo.
Now look, I mean, it appears to me that you're not too worried about whether you send an innocent man to jail or not, right? You don't want to get home to your middle-class home so quickly. All right, but at least let's go over the facts.
We all know the facts. The kid's guilty. That's the facts.
Guilty is a verdict. Guilty is not a fact. I happen to think that Mr. Davis is not guilty.
Mr. Davis. Oh, now I know why you're fighting for him. He's another one of those bikers, and none of you are any good.
Fancy. Now look, the eyewitness couldn't even give us the license plate number. She couldn't even tell you what kind of bike the man was riding. She identified the man by the helmet, right here. Exhibit A, all right? But look, I want to try a little experiment. I'm going to put on Exhibit A, all right? Now, when the guy was driving away, he was in this position. Tell me, what color are my eyes?
But Fonzie, we can't see your face.
Correctamundo.
But don't forget, that guy was caught 2 blocks away going through Mrs. Leary's purse.
And don't forget, that guy said that he was going through the purse looking for identification.
They will say anything. I say let's stop fooling around and string this guy. I mean, let's get this thing over with so we can all go home, right?
All right, all right.
All right, let's have a show of hands. All those for guilty, put them up. What about you, Mr. Foreman?
I vote not guilty.
What?
Yeah, I convinced you, huh, Mr. C?
No, you didn't convince me, Fonzie. I still think he's guilty. But I'm not going to put a man in jail just because I'm in a hurry to get home.
Jason Davis was riding a Graham Mark II motorcycle when he was picked up.
We know that, Fonzie.
That's right, you know that. But do you know, Mr. C, that the Graham Mark II is a very rare bike that is only made in England? I think this is the important part. The criminal was supposed to have had the handbag in his left hand.
Well, naturally, he had to accelerate the bike with his right hand.
And there's the rub, ladies and gentlemen. The Graham Mark II, made in England, has the accelerator on the left-hand handlebar. Now, how can Jason Davis grab the bag, hold it up in his left hand, and accelerate with the same hand? With 2 left hands, he can't. I rest my case.
Oh, there's still a little something wrong here.
Only for you. Mr. Davis can't change his color. Sorry.